At the beginning of this pandemic, I was living with my fiancée Victoria, my roommate Jeffrey, who is my co-host on Comic Books Are Lit, the podcast you can check out on our website, and a third individual who, for reasons that should be obvious in a minute, will remain nameless. And he and I, and to a lesser degree the other roommates, but I think it was most noticeable with he and I, we just didn't really get along. A few months into the pandemic, I guess it would have been August, September, I don't know, time is an illusion, who cares? He ended up moving out, which was great, and it was better for all people involved. But when he moved out, things got nasty. And I'm not talking about the way he treated the bathroom, although, yeah, I mean, a little bit I am. When he was moving out, we were trying to figure out the final date he would be here. He got very argumentative, he got very challenging, he got very mean-spirited, and some of the things that he said were really out of line. At one point in a text message, he did make a point to refer to these videos as videos no one ever watches. Which, by the way, I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers by the end of March. What better reason to do that than to prove that guy wrong? Make sure to subscribe. But the other thing he did during one particularly tense conversation is he referred to myself and my fiance as narcissists. And even at that exact moment, I remember thinking, how dare he do that? My fiance is not a narcissist. I'm Michael Christensen, and I'm going to talk to you about mental health? I don't know about this. Here we go. See, the idea that I'm a narcissist is one that I'd actually thought of before, and one that I joke about semi-seriously, but also I think is a little bit true. And I think that's okay to a point, and I'm going to tell you why. As writers, we often suffer from imposter syndrome. It's something that plagues most of us a lot of the time. How often do we have the thought, I'm not good enough, my writing's not good enough, I'll never be published, I don't deserve to be published? A lot of the time we have this thought because we're comparing our current works in progress with existing finished manuscripts. So it's not a fair comparison. We're taking something that we're working on that was being developed, something that we've seen from the very beginning and we've seen how it's evolved, hopefully gotten better, and we're comparing it to final drafts. The first time we experienced these things was their final draft. And that gets in your head. It starts to make you think, well, I can't write as good as the final draft of these famous authors, so I'll never be a famous author. I bet I'll never be a good author. Imposter syndrome may be the most insidious way our brains hijack our creativity. I've talked before about resistance and the way that it manifests. If you don't know the term in this context, I recommend you check out the book, The War of Art. It's a little metaphysical and a little bit up its own butt, but I think it is really helpful when you're trying to figure out how to characterize the reasons you don't write. It's a useful tool in that regard. But one of the ways that I think we all suffer from resistance is with imposter syndrome, because I think every author experiences it to some degree. I'm thinking of a story where Neil Gaiman was at a fundraiser or some sort of event, and he was talking with someone in the back of the room, and that person was saying, I don't know if I belong here. All these other people are incredible, and I just did what I was told. And the person in question was Neil Armstrong. I think we can agree that Neil Armstrong deserves to be at an event or two. I think he's done some cool stuff. But that's what imposter syndrome is. Imposter syndrome is your brain's way of telling you the things you did that other people might call impressive. No, you didn't earn them, or they're not as impressive as you think they are. It's insidious. Now let's contrast that with narcissism. Narcissism will also get in your way. Narcissism is the part of your brain that tells you that you don't need to work on this. You don't need to revise your work. It's good enough as it is. Narcissism is the part of you that disregards the comments of your beta readers. Narcissism is the part of you that challenges your agent or your editor when you get notes you don't agree with. Narcissism is bad, but at least if you're narcissistic, you're still gonna write. Narcissism and imposter syndrome are opposites, but narcissism still helps you write. It just makes you very, very bad at taking feedback. And trust me, I would know. I've been called a narcissist by a jerk who I don't live with anymore, so I'm an expert. Narcissism and imposter syndrome are both bad habits and ones that you need to find a way to work around. But if you can have them both in moderation, it's kind of the best way to manage either one. Okay, hear me out. Imposter syndrome is going to make you not want to write, but it's going to make you more receptive to feedback. On the flip side, narcissism is very valuable when you're actually writing and drafting because you feel invincible. You feel like you're writing gold, and then it makes you bad at accepting feedback. So I would posit that the best, well-rounded writer doesn't experience just one or the other. They experience both, and they make both work for them. It's not enough simply to be a narcissist, although a little bit of that is good, because without that, you'll find yourself second-guessing every decision you make on the page. I think every writer has a little bit of narcissism in them, and embracing that is what allows you to get past page 1. Otherwise, you're gonna keep wondering, why am I writing this? Is anyone gonna read it? Would anyone read it? Would anyone care? Indefinitely. And take it from me, I have a little bit of imposter syndrome too. Imposter syndrome is a problem when you are drafting because you don't feel motivated. Every line you write, every page that you finish and you think, that's garbage. If you can give yourself enough perspective while you're drafting, you can say, it's okay, it's not gonna make it into the final edit. But imposter syndrome is not gonna consider that. Imposter syndrome doesn't care about that. Imposter syndrome is only interested in telling you it's bad. It's bad writing. Look, you know it's bad writing. And it's okay if it's bad writing. It's okay for now. No writing was good writing the first time. That's probably not true, but it's helpful for you to know that. Just lie to yourself and say that all writing was always bad to begin with. Because a lot of it was. A lot of the really good stuff was bad when it started. Sometimes it was bad when it was finished. Just remember that too. Some people got published even though they wrote something bad. I guarantee you, if you can keep that in mind and let the narcissist take you into its sweet embrace and say, it's okay, you're a better writer than X, Y, and Z, not as good as A, B, and C, but at least better than these other ones. That will at least let you finish a project. And then, once your project is ready for other people to read it, it's time for the narcissist to go in a drawer. He is no longer useful to you. Let your imposter syndrome play a role now, because your imposter syndrome is going to assume that everyone knows how bad your writing is. That's actually valuable when you're getting feedback. It's important for you to take all feedback at its face and not to push back against it. The narcissist pushes back against all the feedback he gets. The imposter probably is going to listen to too much feedback. Once you get all your feedback, go ahead and open the drawer, let the imposter sniff the feedback, take a look, taste each one. This metaphor has gotten completely off the rails. My point is, you don't take every piece of feedback. That's not what a writer does. But you do weigh each one fairly. If someone gives you feedback that doesn't match what you're looking for with your book, that's fine, but try to bear in mind where the note is coming from and what you can do that still might solve their issue with it without taking their suggestion or going down the path they might recommend. The narcissist and the imposter are both a part of every writer. I think at least they should be. And if you're on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram, part of you is probably already feeling a bit of this battle. You might be wondering, is my content good enough to post? Or you might be thinking, my content's great, why aren't more people seeing it? Those are both very understandable, but they're also symptoms of the imposter and the narcissist. Try to keep an ear out. Listen for which one is most whispering in your ear when you're on social media, or doing a video, or writing. Do you suffer more from the narcissist or the imposter? I know the narcissist is leading the charge on a lot of things. That's why I need to remind myself of the imposter side of me. I need to keep him in play because otherwise that narcissist is going to take the wheel and run with it. Is the metaphor good again? I don't know, who cares? Anyway, that's the video. I hope it is helpful to you. And if it is, please share it with your friends. And remember, some jerk who I don't live with anymore once said that no one watches these videos, so I'd like your help proving him wrong. I'm going to give away a free audiobook to one of my audience members once I reach 200 subscribers, so please help me out. I would love the support. And you would be making a petty dream come true, which is really good. If you like the video or you think this is interesting, hit the like button. That way I know that you are receptive to this kind of video and I'll do more like it in the future. Don't forget to ring the bell. That way you know as soon as a video comes up and you don't have to wait or look around for it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, Victoria. And you are not a narcissist.